Today, we are hosting my great friend, somebody who I go back nearly a decade with, and that's Dr. Aaron Nicholas. A little bit about Aaron. Dr. Aaron Nicholas is a practicing dentist and international speaker with over 30 years of experience. He graduated from the University of Maryland Dental School. He is the founder and CEO of Monday Morning Dentistry, the Smile Protection Plan, the Dental Assistant School of Maryland, and Nicholas Dental Care. He's a frequent guest on dental podcasts, including, what's this one? The Dental...
Sound it out.
Podcast. Okay, I get it. It's cute. They put dentist and entrepreneur together. That's cute how they did that. The Relentless Dentist, Dentist, Implants, and Worms, and the Better Dentistry podcast. He has authored numerous videos, including the 1-hour molar root canal buildup and crown, the ultimate anesthesia, profitable hygiene without bloodshed, and efficient extractions for the general practitioner. How you doing today, Aaron?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. This is awesome. So we have a real treat today in that Aaron is going to be lecturing on his really wildly successful and popular 1-hour molar root canal buildup and crown. And this thing, guys, has sold out 4 times in a row. In fact, he's done them back-to-back days before, and both of those days has sold out. So we are in for a treat today. I've taken it myself. You were actually scheduled to come out to teach all of my associates your technique, but it was canceled due to all the stuff that's going on right now. So, I think we're all in for a real treat, and I really, really, really appreciate you doing this for DSN today.
Yeah, I think this is going to be fun. I would point out that we're coming up on our 3rd year of doing the hands-on course, and there's only one participant who has ever actually obturated the root canal that they did during the hands-on course, and that is Ashley, right there.
Oh!
Everybody else instruments, and they're like, I got the rest. I'm good.
Yeah, so Ashley Evans, who I don't think you finished your DDS degree yet. Have you, Ashley?
No, not quite. I'm still working on those canals there.
Well, congratulations on having performed a root canal and having 0 experience in clinical dentistry.
I didn't get sued. That plastic molar didn't sue me.
And as far as we know, it's still successful. We haven't had to refer it back out, so we're good.
There you go. Perfect. All right, Aaron. So this is going to be cool. I would love it if you could get through your slides and your content. Go at your own pace, obviously, but we will have open question and answer period at the end. These things have been really, really great the last few times that we've done them, and the audience has been very, very interactive, and they've been stoked that we've been able to answer their questions live in real time. So without further ado, take it away, my friend.
Okay, great. Hey, guys. So all that stuff that Mark said in the preamble, basically I've been in practice 30 years, and I've spent a fair amount of time teaching my associates how to do a lot of this stuff. So it's kind of a natural fit. Usually we do this course with 15 people max. And what I like to have is interaction all during the whole time. So if you want to kick up some questions, that's fine. If it gets to be too much, then I'll put that on pause. But otherwise, ask questions as they're coming to you. The other thing that I would ask you is that you are receiving a gift from every previous class that has come through. And that is that at the end of the course, they tell me, hey, this was really important for me. This was really important. These things that made the biggest difference in my understanding and performing of the procedures. And so then I can incorporate those into the class. So every course has been a little bit different. The things have changed a bit here and there. So as you're listening to this and you go, oh my gosh, that is like a major deal for me, personal message me, shoot me something and let me know that so that I can then adjust things for the next class coming through. Okay? So that's kind of the way we want to do that. I am going to screen share with you. We'll see how my talents are. We're going to do that one. Yeah, and we hit the share button. Boom. And we're here. Good. And then we're going to pull this up. Okay. We good with that? Everybody seeing that? So this is my company, Monday Morning Dentistry, and there's a .com site and all that kind of good stuff. So let's there we go. Okay, so I don't want to waste anybody's time. And as I was thinking about what do I want to teach on today, what I was thinking was what were the 3 biggest takeaways that I think people are getting from the course, okay? And this is what I think they are. How access openings can keep you from getting blocked out, the correct sequence for opening up canals, and what to do about blocked and ledged canals. So if you got all those things down, you can leave now. You are up to date and good to go. If you'd like to listen to this, that'd be great also. But these are the biggest issues that I see from docs coming through the course, okay? So a lot of us are skilled. We have the right equipment. We have the right training. We have a fair idea of what we think is going on, but a lot of times there's something else that's happening that we are completely and totally unaware of, and it's the thing that ends up coming back to bite us in the butt, okay? I went to the Chicago Midwinter meeting a couple of months ago or a month ago, whenever that was. And I met with one of the manufacturers that was making files, and they were going to debut a new file design. And we were talking a lot about metallurgy. And they said, well, we made it like this. We made it more flexible, and we made it more resistant to cyclical fracture, because as we surveyed our docs, they told us that's the thing that they would need to be able to start doing molar root canals. And I kind of chuckled, and I was like, I 100% understand why you did it, and I'm with you 100% for going out and asking your docs and then trying to respond to the market. But it's a little like Henry Ford when he said, if I asked my customers what they wanted, they would have told me faster horses. And so sometimes it's not the thing you think you need that's going to get you over the hump. It's some other stuff that you're just completely unaware of. So I'm going to ask you to keep an open mind for the next hour or so and see how this fits in with the way you understand root canal therapy and endodontic therapy, and as we go along here. The other thing that I also found at the very first course, I laid it out just as clear as I possibly thought that I could, and I gave the didactic part, which was 4 hours in the morning, and then we had lunch, and then we started working on teeth in the afternoon. And after about 10, 15 minutes, I was going from table to table to see what people were doing. The number one problem people were having, the place they first ran into problems, was at the very, very beginning in making the access opening. Because although I described it to what made sense to me in the way that I thought it should happen, it's like all of us. You run it through your filter and you do what seems to make sense to you based on what you were told. And what they were doing that was making sense to them based on what they were told. My message got incorporated with their dental school message, got incorporated with whoever else they've taken endodontic training from. And so we ended up with some results that we really didn't want to see. So I called everybody back together and I said, okay, let's talk access openings. Let's start, because we're starting to go wrong right from the beginning. And an access opening actually can be the first part of what's going to help keep you from getting blocked out. Most docs I know stop doing molar root canals because they're having trouble finding canals, or they're always getting blocked out. It kills their schedule. They can't predict how much time it's going to take, and you eventually get to the point where you're like, enough. You spend all the time, and then you still send them down to the specialist. Just send them down from the beginning, and let's be done with it. So we're gonna get past that. So takeaway number one: how to create access openings that keep you from getting blocked out. So as soon as we get into this, the very first question is, we're going to make an access opening, which means we're going to make a hole. And the question is, how big should the hole be? How big can it be that's big enough for us to work through, and yet small enough that we're not endangering the tooth? We're not weakening the tooth to the point where it's no longer viable. So these two cases that you're looking up on the screen are cases of minimally invasive endo. They were both done by specialists. They were both retreated at least once. And they both were eventually extracted because the cases failed, okay? So if you look at the molars on the left, the one that has a crown on it, that's mine, and that's about the way that I do endo. That's about how big I open that up. And the one on the left is the one that the specialist had done and that eventually failed and had to be extracted. There's not that big a difference between the amount of dentin removed, one versus the other. But there was a really big difference in the result that was finally achieved, okay? So we're going to kind of go through and talk a little bit more about this. So if we look at the research about minimally invasive endo, because mostly It's about how big do you make this access opening. And we've all seen those cases on YouTube and stuff where the access opening is this little teeny tiny ninja opening, and somehow they got everything in there and they got everything cleaned out and they got it all finished and they could get out there. And now they're talking a lot about having that overhang of dentin and not taking that out because it adds strength to the tooth. But in order to get everything cleaned out, how do you know that you have it all cleaned out if you've got all this stuff that's getting in the way? So here's a couple of quotes. Okay, I need to move these guys up here. There we go. This is from 1989, the Journal of Endo. Okay, so I graduated dental school in 1987. So that's 30 plus years ago. Okay, this is before rotary endo. Okay, so keep that in mind. And it said, traditionally sized access cavities only reduce tooth stiffness by 5%, whereas cutting an MOD prep decreases tooth stiffness by more than 60%. So we don't think twice about cutting an MOD prep, but we think all kinds of times about like, gee, how much tooth should I take away to do a really good job with this access opening? Let's see, hang on. I think I need to do this. There we go. This one's from the Journal of Prosthetic Dentistry 2002. And they said, tooth survival following endodontic treatment is most dependent on full coverage, as teeth without full coronal coverage are extracted 6 times more frequently. Okay, so that's 2002. This is 2004. This is in the Journal of Endodontics, and this is the study that I really think tells the tale. And it says, in one large epidemiological study, initial endodontic treatment was performed by general dentists and endodontists in 1.4 million teeth. Okay, that's a lot of teeth, and that's a lot of guys with varying levels of expertise, varying levels of equipment. There's just no consistency there at all. There's just a ton. It's the whole kitchen sink. And they say overall, 97% of these teeth were retained in the oral cavity for at least 8 years. Okay, if you had cancer and I told you that we have a treatment that gives you a 97% success rate for 8 years, you'd be feeling pretty good. Okay, then this next line is the analysis of the 3% that were extracted revealed that 85% of them had no full coronal coverage. Okay, so 85% of the 3% didn't have crowns on them. Okay, that had to come out. So if you do the math, that means that 0.09% of endodontically treated teeth with crowns on them got extracted over the 8 years, and we still don't know how many of those were for root fractures. So the big push, the big concern with minimally invasive endo is that we don't want to take away so much dentin that we're weakening the tooth. But what most of the research is saying is that that's not really the issue. The real issue is getting a crown on that tooth more than anything else. So a couple of quotes here from some big guns in endodontics. It is noteworthy that the shoulder concept of shaping canals is perfectly consistent with a much more recent trend of minimally invasive endo. However, while the Schilderian canal shaping objectives have undergone rigorous scientific and clinical scrutiny for more than 40 years, MIE's abstract, shape-shifting concept is subjective and is physically dimensionless. The conundrum for proponents of MIE is that a more minimally prepared canal are typically more minimally cleaned and rarely exhibit filled root canal systems. In those 2 cases I showed you, you could see that those were not nearly as dense as the other one. Although the concept of MIE is noble, logical, and deserves discussion, it is appreciated that this concept is abstract, subjective, and physically dimensionless. For most, MIE is driven by non-evidence-based fear that endodontic treatment predisposes to radicular fractures, and that's what all those studies were telling us that's not really true. Histological evidence demonstrates that removing the triangles of dentin, and we'll get into those, results in a more radicularly centered final prep, which in turn makes teeth more fracture resistant, okay? And the guy who said that was Cliff Ruddle, who's the guy who helped develop the ProTaper Gold and the Wave 1 Gold, which are 2 of the best-selling systems in the world, okay? So, and if you read stuff by Cliff Ruddle, frequently he talks about deep shape and about being able to get enough fluid exchange to get really good cleaning in the root canal system. And what he's telling you is that you don't need to make a teeny tiny hole to do a good job and to feel like you're practicing responsible endodontics. So I think those are the only quotes and big lots of wordy slides that I have. So this is my burr block for doing a root canal buildup and crown. And the ones that I want you to concentrate are the one on the left, the wheel, okay, and the one all the way on the right, which is a safe end diamond, okay? So those are the two we're going to be talking about a lot. So first off, I can't get you to an hour root canal buildup and crown in an hour of lecture time, but we're going to get you back into the root canal game, okay? So first thing we want to do is you want to put a rubber dam on. And I'm not going to go through all the reasons why, but you need to put a rubber dam on. And it actually pays off to put a rubber dam on the quadrant, not just the tooth. By not having the rest of the teeth to look at, you are limiting yourself as far as the information that you're getting about the position of the tooth, where that canal might be, what angle it's at. Is it leaning toward the lingual? Is it coming out toward the buccal? Is it tilted mesial-distally? But if you have all the other teeth there, it makes it much simpler. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to take 1.5 millimeters or 2 millimeters off the top. Just haircut that tooth, okay? You're going to come back and put a crown on this tooth anyway. You're going to do this anyway. So by removing tooth structure that you're going to remove anyway, you're going to save yourself from having to work around tooth structure that's going to get in your way the entire procedure. And then again, you're just going to cut it off. So why not do yourself a favor and just cut it off from the get-go, and it's going to make your life easier, and it's going to make this whole process easier for you, okay? So there we go, haircut. Okay. The very next thing we want to do is we want to get into the canal system. And in order to get into the canal system, once I'm in the canal system, I like to use a safe end diamond because it keeps me from gouging the floor of the pulp chamber. It keeps me from not finding canals because I didn't extend the walls enough. It keeps me from having rough walls so that when I'm trying to go in with files, they're catching and I have to keep going back and looking in to be able to see which canal is which, rather than just being able to take the file and slide it right down the access opening and into the canal. But before you can do any of that, the first thing we got to do is we got to find the stupid thing, okay? So here we go.